Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Oh my.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about 5 more spooky places in the state of Ohio. Now, if you missed the first video, we did do a top 10 video, but basically every comment on the video was, what about this place?
Yeah.
So we decided to do 2 top 5 videos. So this will be like part 2 to the first one, which was 10, and there'll be a part 3, which is the other 5. So that way we can just talk about them a little bit more. Now, if you are watching this in video form, there will also be a podcast, which will have like an extended.
Yeah.
So it'll be extended things like this for the video form will be cut up a little bit more. So if you're interested in the podcast, it's on all major podcasting platforms. Again, it's called Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts. Oh my. You probably don't have to type out the oh my part.
Yeah.
But.
All right. So this is actually a still working bed and breakfast. It's called Buxton Inn. And actually, they kind of promote the spookiness of the place because one of the most notorious spirits at this bed and breakfast is a cat.
It's a cat. Yep, ghost cat.
Ghost cat. And it's actually on their sign. If you look at their sign, it actually has a little cat on the sign and everything like that. Which I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it actually was part of the Underground Railroad. So you got all that fun stuff going on there. And then, of course, the ghost cat. Someday I would like to go there because it's not too far from where I live.
It's closest to Cleveland, this place
Yeah,
is.
it's in Granville.
Okay.
Which isn't that, it's fairly close.
Oh, yeah, 'cause it says it's like Columbus-ish area.
Yeah. So one of these days we'll hopefully get there. The former owner, like the person who built it, he's supposed to also haunt the location. But it's mostly the cat and anybody that stayed there during the Underground Railroad and things like that. So.
Because people say what, like they like feel like the cat like laying down beside them.
Yeah, like rubbing, you know how you get like the cats rubbing on your legs, things like that. They hear cat sounds, all that fun stuff. Meows, lots of meows.
It says one of the inn's former owners, Ethel Bonnie Houston, became known as the Lady in Blue after her apparition was spotted in a light blue dress a few times. Venezuela says the ghost is known to evoke the scent of gardenias. Ooh. Dead people tend to like to make the scent of flowers a lot, I feel like.
Flowers and tobacco of some sort.
Yeah. I've never stayed at a haunted bed and breakfast. And I know there's another place that I think we're going to talk about that'll be in part 2. That's like a haunted bed and breakfast, but which is really close to us. I would like to stay in one sometime. I think it'd be fun to like just have like an overnight like, because like yes, a lot of the places we go you are allowed to stay there overnight, but I don't want to sleep on some scary looking mattress like that's scarier than what the ghost might be. But if I was staying in a place that's actually like a nice hotel and like your room just might be haunted, like that's different.
Yeah, like I know a lot of these B&Bs are set up so it's like basically like you're in your own bedroom, you know, like it's supposed to set up like that, not really more like a hotel, but more like, you know, welcome home, this is your room, you know, this is how how it was made that way or whatever. But I
imagine also with like all the Airbnbs that are out there now, like some of these Airbnbs are probably haunted.
Probably.
Like, just like stay in an Airbnb and like get haunted.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, some of them are really nice, but some of them are just people's like old ass homes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. If there's anybody that's listening ever stayed in an Airbnb that's been haunted and like you didn't know it, you're like, I'm just going to go stay at this place. And then, like, creepy things.
Surprise.
Yeah, Airbnb. I've never used an Airbnb because it just the thought of it freaks me out. Like some of it are just houses that or an apartment that you get to yourself, but the ones like where there's like people that own the house and you're just renting out a room of their home. The thought of it's so weird to me. I don't even like doing that with family, like going to a family member's house and staying in the guest room. It's like weird to me. I don't like it. I like being in my own thing or like my own space. So that the fact that I know that I'm just a stranger in someone's home, just sleeping in one of their rooms is so off-putting to me. But I know a lot of people really, that's the only thing they do now. They don't even do hotels anymore. They just do
which I think is weird. I've read too many horror stories about people going to Airbnbs and they're being like hidden cameras and like the guy like snuck in the middle of the night.
I watched a horror movie about
things
that.
Like that.
Like last month. It was weird. I forget what it was called. But
yeah,
ew, no thank you.
Yeah, it just kind of freaks me out. Like I don't want to.
It's freaky. But yeah, so that's that. On to the next spooky place.
All right.
Number 4. I don't think we're ranking these in any order, are we?
No.
We'll save a dark one for last, though.
Oh.
There's a couple dark ones. So let's save a dark one for last. Like one that we think is super spooky.
Yeah. So the super spooky one is the last one.
Okay. Cool.
The next one is Fairport Harbor Lighthouse.
Speaking of ghost cats.
And a ghost cat.
It's the theme of the episode.
It's the theme of the episode. Not really. I
think that's the only 2.
No, the other one has dogs.
Oh. Well, either way.
Whatever. Yeah, so Fairport Harbor Lighthouse is supposed to be haunted, of course, by light keepers that have been there. Of course, a cat that likes to jump on the bed and run around and rub on your legs like I own you now, whatever.
Cat shit.
Yeah, doing cat stuff. They did actually find a mummified remains of a cat.
Yeah.
There in 2001. So I mean,
because people had been reporting it before then. Like they had said, people had thought they saw like the ghost of a cat and jumping on the bed and all of that. And then they found it in 2001 when doing renovations.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool. Like anytime that like something is happening and like people think they see something and then there's something that like in a way validates that claim. Yeah. That's always a little more convincing to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's see what else. The owner of the cat, Mary Babcock, fell critically ill shortly after Robbie's death. So her son, bedridden in the keeper's quarters, she kept cats to help pass the long days. Sentinel, a gray cat her husband found in the lighthouse basement, became her constant companion. And after Baddock died, the gray cat disappeared. And I think that is probably the cat that they believe. Yeah.
The cat's in the museum. It says the leathery cat is in the museum. Ew.
Oh, yeah, the one they found in the walls. So, there you go. So you can go see the ghost cat, and you can also see the leathery cat found in the walls. That is probably the spirit. So, that's actually kind of interestingly morbid that you can go possibly experience the ghost of something you can actually then see the physical body of. Because you don't get that much. Because obviously, like, in a place that's haunted by a person, you don't get to go see their remains and then, like, see their ghost. So it's kind of actually eerie to me that, like, you might experience that while the body is in the place.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's really creepy, actually. Yeah. All right, what do we got for number 3?
We got Lima Tuberculosis Hospital.
Oh yeah, this place is just yeah.
Tuberculosis hospitals are notorious for being like super haunted. I mean, you got like Waverly Hills, you got Molly Stark. There's just always something about that because I mean, you basically have these people going in there, and a lot of them don't come out. And tuberculosis is a really bad illness to get. I mean,
there's still not even a cure for it. Like they did obviously come up with the vaccination and that, but like if you get it, you just have it. Like they do have like things to suppress it now, but like there's not a way to like cure yourself. Still, I don't think.
You just always have it.
Yeah, it's just a thing you get
now. But yeah, this place was open from 1911 to 1973, and of course, like most places. They see, shadow figures and, people walking around and things like that. It is very decrepit and creepy and overgrown. Do not try to get into the place because the person that owns the property will call the cops, like, instantly. Yeah. If he sees anybody near it. Like, if you, like, slow your car by it, he's, like, got the phone like at the ready, so I highly recommend do not try to get into this place.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I feel like the ghost of this, I didn't see anything like specifically, and I'm sure there are specific ghosts, of course, but it's mainly just people that have went in, seen shadow figures darting around, just your typical like that, just kind of like seeing stuff, hearing things. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine if hauntings are real, if ghosts are real, like, and you believe that, like, tragic events cause hauntings, tuberculosis hospitals seem like the number one spot.
Yeah, really. Tuberculosis hospitals and insane asylums, I mean, are your two places that you're always going to find tragedy, because, I mean, it's a tragic way to die.
Yeah, it's very painful, very drawn out.
Yeah, and plus, back in the day, they were doing experiments on people.
So not only were you sick, like, imagine, like, the sickest you've ever felt, and then someone just torturing you as well.
Yeah, they're like, oh, hey, we're going to try to make you breathe better, so we're going to remove some ribs while you're awake. Yeah. Is that okay? Exactly. And you're like, I guess. And then it doesn't work, and they're like, oops.
It's just... Sorry. It's really insane, like, early medical stuff, like... The stuff, I mean, but that's the kind of shitty thing, is like that's how we know a lot of stuff now, is by just trial and error. Like, well, let's just fuck them up a little bit and see if it helps. Oh, it didn't. Oopsie doopsies. Like, literally, that's like,
quite literally, you're not wrong at all.
Yeah, like, no,
it was all it's
terrifying. The thought of that is way more terrifying than even thinking about a spirit. So, you know, obviously, if you do go to places like this, I would recommend that you don't provoke, more than likely. Yeah. Like, you probably respect, because if there are spirits, you know, then they are probably already not super... the spirits aren't good spirits. But yeah, super creepy looking place. Wish was something we'd get into, but I don't think that's a thing. So
yeah.
Nope. All right. So what is our number 2? Yeah, we're on number 2.
It is Old Licking County Jail. Yeah.
A place that actually, I think, does do paranormal investigations.
They do. They actually have a haunted house as well.
Yeah, they stopped it last year, but they're bringing it back this year, so I would like to try and go to that. That's another one.
Yes.
Let's keep adding up, man.
I know. The list is just ginormous. So it was built in 1889. So it's, of course, a jail. So, of course, you're going to have, like, inmates and things like that. The biggest haunting, though, there is Carl Etherington, who was a Prohibition officer that was lynched after he killed a saloon owner in self-defense. He went there to bust up the saloon, and the saloon owner basically attacked him, and he shot him and killed the saloon owner, and the townsfolk didn't like that very much, because you just took away our person that was giving us liquor. And they literally went and grabbed him out of the jail, because he was at the jail because of it, even though they said it was going to be self-defense and he was going to get released. The townsfolk went in, grabbed him, and lynched him. And he is supposed to be one of the major people that haunts the jail there. So, I mean, that's pretty awful that you were just doing your job and people were like...
And he was, what, 17? He was only 17 years old?
Yeah, he was young. He was really young.
But, like, what people, it says they experience things like door slamming, you know, your disembodied voices, dark figures. It says workmen have reported being disrupted by loud screaming to the point where they had to turn their music up to drown the unnerving sounds out. So you're just working in a place, you're like, man, these ghostly screams are so loud, I better turn up my music. Like, maybe leave. I don't know. I would
probably be like, hey, could you shush up a little bit? Like, we're trying to work.
That's crazy to me. Like, all the screams are just so loud. We need to turn our music up. But yeah, this is some place that we definitely want to go to number 1. And like I said, we wanted to save, like, kind of a dark, messed up one for last. And this place fits that criteria. So
it's a kind of a 2-part thing, because there is Malabar Farm, which is a huge land, acres and acres of land. And there's a main building, which is was built by Louis Bromfeld, which is a famous author. And he actually haunts that house, as well as his daughter, who may or may not have been on the spectrum. She seemed to have had issues. And then also, Louis Bromfeld loved boxer dogs, and he had like 1 million of them. And I actually did have an experience with one of the dogs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I firmly believe that place is haunted by those dogs.
Legit.
But the big thing, and I would love to get into this house. Unfortunately, they don't allow people in there.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Sometimes it says, do they sometimes, or is it just never?
Well, they just recently purchased it. It was privately owned.
Oh, okay.
So they just recently purchased it, so it is part of the actual Malabar Farm Park, which is what the whole main thing is called.
Yeah.
It is the Ceely Rose House. Ceely Rose was a girl that lived there with her family, and she fell in love with a neighbor boy who her parents, or his parents, didn't approve of her.
Yeah. So what was her reaction?
Her reaction was, I'm going to poison my parents.
With arsenic.
With arsenic.
Yeah.
So she proceeded to take arsenic and mix it into cottage cheese. Her father died the next day. He had so much cottage cheese that he croaked the next day. Her brother hung on for about a week, and he died a week later. And then the mother actually recovered, and she tried to actually cover it up that Ceely did this. And Ceely was still pissed at her and killed her a month later with more arsenic in cottage cheese.
See, I would have been safe because cottage cheese is the devil.
Like, wouldn't you learn? Like, oh, I better, this cottage cheese is sus. I better not eat it.
Yeah, then you don't eat the cottage cheese that killed the rest of your family. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it also does say, like, details vary significantly from story to story, different buildings. But she did go to Lima State Hospital, so it was still Lima. But it was for the criminally insane. She died there in 1934, a day after her 61st birthday. She's actually buried in the hospital graveyard. I wonder where that is, if it's accessible. I would like to take a trip there.
Yeah, that's actually a good
the,
idea. We'll have to go
graveyard.
look for that.
Yeah, we'll have to see where that is. Maybe have a little mini episode out of that. But yes, so there were 5 more haunted places in Ohio. And again, the following week, next Friday, there will be another episode. Again, both the shorter form, the shorter video where there'll be like pictures and stuff like that, and there'll be the longer form podcast where we talk a little bit more about personal experiences, because if you're just watching this as the video, I'm going to cut out a lot of like the personal experiences and stuff and just kind of keep it down to brass tacks of like, this is a list, this is what goes on there, and here's just a little bit of history. So if you want to hear longer form, which is probably going to be about a half hour long in total, I would go check out the podcast. But, yes, and again, make sure to like, subscribe. Also, Kim's favorite part, make sure you ring the notification bell.
I think I'm going to do the cowbell today.
So you don't miss any future upcoming videos. And thank you very much. Oh, yeah, and check out our merch store. We have that. I forgot to talk about it at the beginning. But we have a merch store. Check that out. We have a whole bunch of shit on there. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.